Mallory, let's go to the hotline, and let's welcome in our small college insider here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football, because the Division II and Division III playoffs are nigh. We are pleased to be joined by our friend Cory Hogue. Cory, what's going on, my friend?
Man, it's a great time. We got 4 teams already in the playoffs and could get 2 more in this week. Can't be happier.
It is a good time to be a small college fan in the state of Texas. You can find all of Cory's work at texasfootball.com. Let's go smallest to largest here and start first with Division III. Division III, the brackets came out last Sunday to much fanfare, and a little bit of history made in the state of Texas. First time since 2011 that we get 3 teams in there, in Mary Hardin Baylor, Trinity, and Hardin-Simmons. I'm interested to hear kind of what you make of the draw overall for the Texas squads.
Oh, I think the draw was about what we expected, to be honest with you. With 3 teams getting in, it looked like going in the last weekend we were going to have 3 teams in the playoffs there. It just I think if Mary Hardin Baylor can win this weekend, we set up another All-Texas matchup next weekend. And it really, from there, it just depends on who wins Trinity and Hardin-Simmons as far as location. But the path is the path. You got 5 games. You have to win 5 to win a national title, and that path starts this weekend.
You know, I think people are probably not surprised to see the American Southwest Conference teams here. Hardin-Simmons, of course, is a team that came in with a much fanfare. Mary Hardin Baylor at this point needs no introduction at the Division III level. But Trinity is a bit of the surprise, a bit of the party crasher here from the winning their conference, the SAA. At 10-0, they have looked the part. For folks who are unfamiliar with the Tigers, what can you tell them about them?
This team is one of the fastest rising teams at the top levels of Division III. This is their 2nd consecutive year in the playoffs, and they gave Mary Hardin Baylor. The only other team who gave them a tougher run last year, the Crew, was Hardin-Simmons, and that was during the season. Trinity is just a solid team. They've got a really good defense. They've got Tucker Horn, who was a quarterback at Graham. He leads an offense that can just put up numbers. And the last few weeks, they've really been hitting their stride overall as a team. They're entering the playoffs, and they're a real threat. And I think they have to be probably a favorite over Hardin-Simmons this week. But that's a Cowboys team that is going to come in with breathing fire. They're ready. They had a really bad showing. Some turnovers hurt them against Mary Hardin Baylor this year, and they're excited to return to the playoffs after getting left out last year. This is going to be a heck of a battle in San Antonio on Saturday.
Well, and then you mentioned the Hardin-Simmons. I think everybody's going to have their paying attention to Hardin-Simmons and Trinity there on Saturday. But you look at Mary Hardin Baylor and maybe the bar is just too high for them, but I think we're like 9-1. We're like, what's wrong with Mary Hardin Baylor? Back into the playoff, and this is usually where they make their hay down there in Belton. I'm interested in how you size up this first round matchup with Huntington, which I have to admit, until I started researching them, I was completely unaware of. How would you size up this matchup?
It's actually an intriguing matchup. Huntington can give them some troubles. They really can't, because Crew, if there's one weakness to the Mary Hardin Baylor defense this year, it's a young secondary, and they're going to get challenged this week. Huntington has the chance to really kind of stretch the field on them a little bit, and so they're going to need to get pressure from their front 4 and help out that secondary a bit this weekend. I don't think you can bet against the Crew as much as I did in the preseason. I think I've kind of gotten over that itch now. So, but I'll tell you, that one loss they had was to Wisconsin Whitewater on the road, Wisconsin Whitewater was a national semifinalist last year and needed a 99-yard drive to beat the Crew. So, they could easily still be undefeated. I talk about hitting a stride. What they did last week against McMurray was we're ready for the playoffs, Mary Hardin Baylor. That's scary.
Most certainly. We're talking with Cory Hogue, our small college insider here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation and a hashtag TF today. All right, so let's move up to Division II. We'll talk about Division II, where the champions of the Lone Star Conference, the unbeaten Angelo State Rams, are the earned the top seed in Super Region 4. They're out of the Division II bracket. That's certainly a welcome sign of respect from the Division II selection committee, which hasn't always necessarily been respectful of the Lone Star Conference. But I also feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like this was more or less undeniable with what Angelo State had put together this year.
To tell you how dominant the Rams were this year, they went into the final week of the season against Midwestern State, and even if they had lost that game, they would still have been the top seed in the region this year. That's just how good the Rams are. It's the first time they've gone undefeated in a regular season since the 1978 season that ended in an NAIA national title for Angelo State. So it's really exciting. They are really got the fan base is going. They could be at home. They may not have to leave. There's a good chance. If they keep winning, they're not leaving the state of Texas with the national title game being in McKinney. And my goodness, wouldn't we love to cover Angelo State in a national title game?
Yeah, that'd be be easy on the expenses. I'll tell you that one. We all sleep in our own beds. And so yeah, so when you take a look, let's kind of zoom out and take a look at the Division II kind of bracket as a whole. Obviously, Angelo State's going to enter as one of the favorites, but at the same time, it's a tough road to hoe for them. Play bracketologist for me for a moment. When you take a look at their path, they get that first round bye, which is so important. What do you see from the Division II path that Angelo State's going to have to walk?
It's going to be a tough one. They're going to have, especially when you get a bye, it's kind of tricky. How do you work that bye? For them, Coach Gersh thinks that's just a blessing because they haven't had a bye this year. The D2 teams played 11 straight weeks. So to have some time off will help them get a little healthier. They're going to need to make sure they're ready to perform in their first game. The one that I think is probably the most challenging to get out of the region is Colorado School of Mines, who beat them last year. They returned the favor earlier this season. I believe it was week 2. They beat them in overtime. So that would be just an absolute salty, fun, physical battle at Division II. And if they get through the region, you look nationally, Grand Valley State and Ferris State are in the same region. And in either one of those teams, you're talking defending national champions in Ferris State and Grand Valley, who has all the tradition of a Notre Dame. They're the Notre Dame of Division II. So whoever comes out of there is going to be tough. It is definitely, to win a national title, like Casey Keeler of Sam Houston says, you have to get lucky. And so the Rams are going to have to get lucky, but they definitely have the talent they need to do it.
And finally, talking with Cory Hogue, our small college insider here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation at hashtag TF Today. Let's move up to FCS, where big doings coming up this Sunday with the FCS selection show. From a Texas-based perspective, what are you expecting? Be our chief bracketologist for the FCS level. What are you expecting to see from the Texas schools when they roll out the brackets on Sunday?
I have really good news. We're going to have a top-seeded team. One of the top 8 seeds will be UIW. And boy, have they ever earned that one. Lindsey Scott Jr. and that offense is humming, and that defense is even better than they were last year. What G.J. Kinney has done and that staff has done there in one season with the Cardinals is so impressive. They definitely should be candidates or definitely win the coach of the year. However, there's another challenger, and that's a team that if they win Saturday, they're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to win the WAC title, and they're in the lead for the ASUN WAC power ranking, however that gets figured out. And that's Abilene Christian. And if they have to beat SFA on Saturday at home, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a tough game against an SFA team that's kind of reeling. But if the Wildcats can do that, there's another coach that's got a chance to be Coach of the Year nominee, because you have Coach Keith Patterson out there, who was defensive coordinator at Texas Tech last year, first season at Abilene Christian. went and got Maverick MacGyver at quarterback, brought in a lot of really good players, and he's just so even-keeled. That team has taken on his personality, and they're getting better every single week.
It's going to be fun to watch. Before we let you go, I know you were in the office yesterday, and you came with your lovely wife Alicia, and we love when she comes by. We can take her leave. We love when she comes by because she brings gifts. And Mallory, I think we've got a picture of what came in.
There it is.
That's right. Can you explain what your wife did and why we have a Big Ten cake in our office?
Well, for starters, I'm married way above any pay grade I'll ever achieve. That is for sure. And she was itching to get back up there. She loves bacon. She loves bringing you guys stuff. And so, she's a big Rutgers fan. Now you've got a fellow Big Ten fan over there, Michigan State, with Mallory. And so she had this idea when they played last weekend to bake a cake, and she did it. Let me tell you, that woman is far more talented than I'll ever be. Not only does she put up with me, but the way she did the logos, those just came out perfect. And then what she's most worried about was the taste. And I don't think there's ever any doubt. That woman's never made anything that hasn't tasted delicious.
Well, Cory, not only did it look good, it tasted even better. So really appreciate you guys coming in and bringing us that treat yesterday.
That'll make her so happy. She will love to hear that. What other show can talk about the American Southwest Conference and then talk about the Lone Star Conference and then talk about the WAC ASUN Alliance and then go and talk about Big Ten? I mean, who else can do that?
No one.
Nobody else.
That's
no
all
one
we
else.
get. That's what you expect when we talk with Cory Hogue, our small college insider here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Cory, appreciate your time, my friend, and enjoy the games this weekend.
Hey, thank you. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be in Abilene for that big one, and man, that's going to be a fun weekend. Fun few weeks ahead for us.
It'll be fun. Appreciate you, bud.
Thank you.
There he goes, Cory Hogue, small college insider for Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Getting a nice overview as the small college playoffs get going, of course. And do you want to plug the Craven and Cory's podcast?
Oh, yes. Make sure to go check out the DCTF Small College podcast. It is our college insider, Mike Craven, and then our small college insider, Cory Hogue. They put out one every Tuesday where they recap the week before, and they also give you a quick preview into the next upcoming week. So please go check that out. It's on our Twitter page. So.
And it's in the ROF feed, right?
Yes, it's in the ROF feed.
So if you subscribe to Republic of Football, you'll get the normal Republic of Football shows and then these kind of small college bonus shows.
Yep.
So we appreciate Cory Hogue hopping on with us.